She doesn't say it aloud, she doesn't must, since if you know how to, her quiet is more audible than a admission. The majority of males overlook this, not due to their ignorance, but no, nobody ever showed them where to look. Thus, now pay attention to what I'm about to disclose could alter your perspective. Each exchange, if a woman in secret craves you, it won't begin with physical contact or flirtation. It starts in her head in the how. She lists all the specifics of you, know of how tiny or seemingly negligible. You may bring up a childhood recollection, a transient annoyance, or a past dream. She also doesn't forget she keeps these pieces not to be manipulated, not to rumors. Yet since your life, your vitality, your spirit has ignited, she can't shake her interest. Moreover, craving stems from curiosity. You'll observe first how she observes you. When she believes you're not paying attention, it's not looking, it's calm, subtle, and studying. Perceptive. She observes patterns with her eyes. The how you laugh, how you move, and how your feelings change while you're fervent, worn out, or agitated. Additionally, if she is genuinely drawn to you, unintentionally starts to reflect your enthusiasm, your voice, your tempo, even your breathing. She doesn't know she's carrying it out, but it's the subconscious in line with its desires. Women yearn for what appeals to them on an emotional level. Additionally, if your presence causes alignment, it's halfway there already to fixation. Then there's the manner in which she gently and silently checks you. She may question your beliefs regarding something unimportant. She could make fun of you with a query for which there is no correct response, simply to observe your response. The majority of guys misinterpret this as haughtiness or criticism. However, the reality is more profound. She's making sure your emotional stability, resilience, your capacity for composure under duress. A woman who yearns for you wants a grounded man who can manage disagreement without losing himself. She grows when you remain steady, more and more attracted. When you exaggerate or look for approval, her thoughts silently reassesses her interest. One more, she talks about hidden signals, other men. If she has a secret desire for you, she won't boast or show off her alternatives, focus. She minimizes them because they don't matter on the inside. Her thoughts are focused solely on present, greater than anybody else's. Additionally, she will find methods to be close to you without making it happen. She will be in the same areas offline or online without creating it evident. Coincidence turns becomes a pattern. Additionally, you may only see this in looking back when the link abruptly feels indisputable. Most guys believe craving appears loud, urgent, and like want, evident. They're mistaken. A craving is delicate, patient, and purposeful. You sense a gentle tug before you say anything. Spoken, the residual focus in her eyes, the deliberate effort she makes without expecting the same in return. She imagines having discussions with you in her head. She plays back exchanges. I'm not sure if you will reply, but when her thoughts are a place where you existed long before her lips formed the admission. If you sense in a silent gravity an inexplicable intensity, trust it when she's close. Attraction doesn't always make an announcement. It occasionally waits silently, cautiously, and forcefully until the man is able to observing at last the cues that were there at all times. The second, concealed emotional openness, is an indication without dumping emotions. This is delicate, and the majority of males misunderstand it. When a female secretly longs for you, but she doesn't overwhelm you with her issues, anxieties, or fears. She doesn't release her emotional baggage as though determining whether you're able to carry it. Rather, she permits to observe her thinking and processing, moving her emotions, developing her heart, managing vulnerability in silence. This is intimacy prior to intimacy. She's allowing you to enter her inner world, fix it without expecting you to solve it or comfort her. That is uncommon, and even if she isn't, it's intentional, conscious of it. Not many men acknowledge it, as it's not evident. Although it's not too loud, but the impact is profound. You sense it in the intervals, in the way she pauses before speaking. is the way she looks into your eyes, not for responses, but for recognition. She desires to be noticed, not commended, not approved, simply observed. You'll see that she respects your viewpoint more than your consensus. She poses queries, then sincerely waits for your answer. She isn't looking for praise, she's evaluating resonance. Is your energy fit hers? Are you focused in the moment, grounded, anchored? Women yearn for guys whose presence arranges ideas instead, then jumbles it. If she departs discussions with you feeling more relaxed, more apparent, or comprehensible, her desire expands without using words. If you overreact, you run the risk of over-explanation or seeking approval, putting it out before it catches fire. Another indication is the way she handles time spent with you. She takes her time. She does not demand excessive exposure. She doesn't require continual care. Rather, she deliberately present completely involved in every engagement, face-own, body-open communication, prolonged eye contact, and essential. It's comfortable to be silent since she doesn't feel anxious. It's anticipation. That silence in between sentences is where she keeps thinking about you, imagining, reliving moments, opportunities. Sometimes you notice it before you even comprehend it. Additionally, the subtlety is intentional. Craving doesn't yell. A craving waits, measures of craving itself in endurance rather than force. You'll observe it in the way she reacts when you instinctively pull back, not theatrically, rather than as a test, simply existing your existence without pursuing her. She does not become alarmed. She doesn't go overboard. She adjusts, she meets you in the middle without resorting to extreme means. Just one simple message, as a remark that rekindles the connection. That equilibrium demonstrates emotional intelligence and a depth of passion that most guys fail to notice. Women yearn for males who don't require care, but nevertheless exercise control over it via their existence. Be mindful of boundaries. A lady who yearns for you makes them stronger instead of making them weaker. She doesn't hurry intimacy or overshare. She defends the relationship as it's important to her. Many males interpret this constraint as disinterest, but it's actually an indication of financial investment. What draws her in is measured, disciplined, and rooted in the assurance of your worth. Lastly, observe how she presents growth while she's all around you. It doesn't sound preachy. It's not competitive. She considers her advancement, her goals, and frequently yours as well. Women are drawn to inspiring men, evolution without having to under control. Men whose presence challenges them subtly, gently, and steadily. Craving isn't about mayhem or drama, resonance, alignment, and emotional lucidity. Additionally, when she illustrates this by intentionality, thoughtfulness, patience, as well as emotional curiosity, you are already taking center stage in her inner realm. The third unseen clue appears in her body far in advance of, never makes it to her words. You might not recognize it right away, but she's stance, gestures, and even the beat of her breathing reveals her subconscious yearning. When a woman finds you attractive, her body opens up to you, shoulders loosen, chest slightly rises, feet tilt in your direction, eyes soften. Even in social situations, she places herself in order for her to observe your moves, your expressions, your tiny, nearly subtle changes. This isn't deliberate flirting. It comes naturally control. She is calmed by your presence, neurological system, and that peaceful breeds attachment. She starts to think of you with a feeling of safety, steadiness, and unwritten comprehension, and yearning swells strongly and silently in that safe space. Micro-movements gain strength indicators. She styles her hair, or after you speak, she modifies her attire. Not earlier, she mimics your voice, your motions, your pauses frequently without acknowledging it. It's not manipulation, it's synchronicity of the subconscious. Her nervous system is becoming more fluid with yours. When it happens, touch is intentional but understated. A light touch of the hand, a soft tap, a quick brush against the arm, never coincidental, never desperate. These tiny cues are murmurs of instinct and social constraints on desire, both via patience and conditioning. Desiring frequently conceals itself behind this exact control. Men usually miss it because of this completely. Her response to your another covert indicator is confidence. Confidence, not conceit, not bluster, strikes a deep chord with her. As soon as you boundaries and adhere to them without, she is sucked in, whether it's through violence or an apology. When you decide and take action with, she senses a magnetic pull, clarity. Women are drawn to determined males, rooted and unaffected by outside drama. If she puts you to the test, even gently, and you reply with composed interest instead of stress or defensiveness, she becomes more emotionally invested. Strength. When a craving takes its place, struggles disappear. Insecurity. An additional clue is her paying attention. She hears more than just you. She notices trends in your speech, your behaviors, and responses. She observes changes in your energies before anyone else does. She recalls minute details, what you enjoy, what bothers you, what thrills you. She can tell if you're off it without being questioned. She'll provide when you need it, have room, and when you desire it, and comprehension without justification. This consciousness indicates a profound subconscious attraction. Since cravings are fueled by emotional sensitivity, being protective is subtle but distinct. She stands up for you. When you're not present, redefine your flaws with consideration and provides loyalty in ways that most men are unaware of. There is no imposition of that defense. It appears naturally as she appreciates your essence. She might lightly challenge you intelligently or playfully, but always with deference. Her interest is piqued by depth, resilience, and stability. She is evaluating resonance rather than power. Additionally, if you react suitably, her desire increases in intensity. This is the reality that most males ignore. Women who are attracted to you don't try to ensnare or manipulate you. They coincide with you. Your vitality is reflected in them. They make unsaid patterns that entice you closer without exerting any pressure, without urgency. Additionally, if you experience an odd easiness, a magnetic force, a quiet but strong bond, it's because to her, her body, heart, and mind are long before she made an investment in you, speaks a word. The fourth unseen clue appears most prominently in her response to your lack of presence. Not that you vanished, not games, but the open area when you completely live your life, you can create. This is often misinterpreted by men. They anticipate yearning to manifest as anxiety, clinginess, or ongoing search. They believe that if she doesn't care and doesn't chase, that the assumption is incorrect. When a female secretly longs for you and takes advantage of your lack of time to contemplate, recall, and imagine, she covers the voids with not bitterness, but thought. She examines moments, plays back what you said, and examines the nuances of your voice, the pauses, the looks, the vitality you exude, those silent contemplations. Her desire increases in intensity. It increases in tolerance, in imagining, waiting. She isn't desperate, that she is thoughtful. You'll observe that she makes reference to shared memories quietly, frequently, long after the truth. She might make a joke in passing. You shared a chuckle or an instance where seemed insignificant at the time. She uses illusions to relive the emotional connection between the two of you. She's psychologically reliving events in order to extend the emotions, to relish them, to maintain your relationship in the lack of your actual presence. That is what a hunger is all about. It flourishes on recollection, on contemplation, on peaceful inner concentrate, not on obvious tasks or drama. She might also look to you for approval indirectly, without explicitly requesting it. Not flattery, not praise, but alignment. She desires to sense that you comprehend her viewpoint, that her enthusiasm, her principles, and her goals connect with yours. This isn't insecurity, this is measured and cautious, looking for a relationship she desires to be observed, or precisely by the man she longs for. Moreover, when she exudes patience, intentionality, and curiosity, it's an indicate that her level of emotional commitment is deepening. Observe her behavior in the other women when you're around, not jealousy, rather than excessive rivalry, but a delicate consciousness. She grows more grounded, more thoughtful, and more deliberate in the way she presents herself. Love the way she communicates. She is aware of what she acknowledges and values her feelings. She doesn't have to act out. She doesn't must compete. Rather, she channels energy to establish a connection with you. So, she is concentrating on that self-control and poise are characteristics of desire that are moderated by intelligence and patience. The fourth sign is also evident in how she approaches ambiguity. She accepts ambiguity without hurrying to describe it. She doesn't require labeling or quick lucidity. She permits the relationship to develop organically, comprehending intuitively that demanding assurance frequently eliminates mild attraction. Be patient becomes evidence of a desire since it shows that she is long-term focused. She prefers the cadence of connection to the sounds of quick pleasure. She waits, she watches, she aligns. At last, you'll observe her quiet. Even now, people are still curious about your life when you're away. She poses queries rather than to manage, not to investigate, but to truly comprehend. She doesn't linger. She doesn't exert pressure. She doesn't manipulate. She keeps a harmony of observation's presence and distance and involvement. This combo, patience and unobtrusive attentiveness without indifference, curiosity without desperation, is the most powerful indicator of everything. Women who have such intense desires for men do so quietly, thoughtfully, and with emotional intelligence that is uncommon in guys acknowledge. Space is where cravings flourish, not in search. It develops in contemplation, trust, memory, and alignment. If she honors your presence as well as your absence, if she acts curiously and intentionality, comprehend this obviously. She's already feeling made investments in long term more than any ephemeral passion, the last acceptance without a concealed signal illusion. She can easily see you, not the version you intend to use, not the one I wish you were, but the man you're with, your times of vulnerability. And she remains. She doesn't attempt to change who you are. She doesn't combine her fantasies or expectations rather than your actual situation. She doesn't try to control or mold you the speed at which you live. That is uncommon. The majority of guys mistake her poise for apathy, when in fact it's the purest kind of attraction. She longs for the untidy version of yourself, the genuine you flawed and developing. Additionally, when she does, you sense it even before she talks. She exudes a serene assurance, presence, a subdued assurance that doesn't coerce, control, or demand focus. She rejoices over your victories without contrast, and she values your difficulties without passing judgment. She doesn't try to improve herself at your cost, and she doesn't feel in danger by your development. This is sentimental alignment at its pinnacle. Desiring isn't noisy or panicked at this point. Is measured deep and steady. It appears in the tiny actions that seem nearly undetectable yet are charged with significance. A prolonged gaze, a meticulous timed message, a perceptive observation about your life that she observes all that is important. She makes investments silently, thoughtfully, and wisely because she recognizes the importance of self-control and alignment's power. You'll see that she doesn't depend on games, manipulation, or overly dramatic demonstrations of yearning. There's no frenetic pursuit, no testing, not attempting to force you to follow. Rather, she directs her attention onto yours. Your rhythms are mirrored by her. She honors your personal space, and she produces emotional resonance free from coercion. When a woman has such intense desire for you, she is more confident in your presence than drawing attention to herself. And she approaches you instinctively, naturally, and powerfully and effortlessly. That's an indicator that most guys are unaware of. Her curiosity is still present, not only concerning you, but about the relationship itself. She poses important questions. She observes the changes in your energy, the nuances of your emotions, the tiny behavioral characteristics that show your genuine self. She also holds back her answers deliberately and cautiously because she understands that emotional depth is greater worth more than instant satisfaction. Her desire is well-informed, patient, and advanced. It endures right now. Here's the reality that distinguishes men who comprehend women from those who are still bewildered. Craving is never about desperation. Alignment is the key. Resonance, endurance, and faith. A female who yearns for you mentally, emotionally, and unconsciously does so without frenetic chase. She establishes a bond. It endures because it is rooted in sincerity, difference, and shared comprehension. Her focus is merited, respected, and firmly based on observation of who you are, not just on the surface portrayal of your appearance. Thus, this is the question that only you can respond to: sincere and profound. Are you starting to the type of man who inspires naturally lucidity, emotional security, and trust? Oh, also, are you still looking for approval? And do you confuse connection with intensity? In the comments section below, write your response. If this video opened your eyes, please like it. Sign up to learn more about female dating dynamics and psychology. Moreover, show this video to a buddy who is in need of to hear this, because comprehension, these facts have the power to alter a man's feels, lust, attraction, and connection indefinitely.